Hi, I am Stefano, and I've been practicing meditation for over 10 years and enjoy quite a few benefits from it. From this, my desire to share some insights with you. However, I have thought quite a bit before deciding to make this video, since a quick look at YouTube shows plenty of educational videos on meditation. So I asked myself whether I could contribute anything new or whether I wanted to make a video just to show my face on the web. I decided hopefully I could present a different enough view of meditation to make it worthwhile for those patient enough to watch it. I'm a scientist by training, and as such I'm accustomed to ask why something happens or why we do the things we do. It is my belief that if we have an understanding of what we do, we will put more effort into it and stick with it even if we do not see immediate results. So here is the main question. Why would we want to spend part of our busy day meditating, and what should we expect from it? In order to clarify this, let me start with a bit of history. Siddhartha Gautama, later known as the Buddha, was arguably the greatest psychologist of all time. He understood that suffering is an unquestionable fact of human existence, but he argued that the largest part of suffering is mental and not physical, and that large part of the physical suffering is due to unhealthy behavior caused by an unhappy mind. He stated the suffering of the mind is due to emotions taking it over and preventing it from functioning in an equanimous and balanced way. But being a great optimist, he affirmed that there was a way out of suffering. The Buddha spent 40 years teaching a technique that can expand our awareness of negative mental objects that try to penetrate and control our mind. Turn into a constant practice. It allows us to live a more equitable and wise life, where we are the masters of our decisions and are not controlled by emotions or negative feelings that constrain the achievement of our maximum potential. Pretty much all what Siddhartha Gautama said has been confirmed by modern psychology. His intuition that with appropriate training we can learn to live in the present and not prisoner of fearful memories or future anxieties is as valid today as it was 2,500 years ago. But in order to understand this approach, we must look at how our brain functions. Now, what I'm going to say implies that the mind is a function of the brain. If you have a different opinion, bear with me. I think that what I say will still apply. So, if we assume for the moment that what neuroscience says is true, we can think of the brain having two major functions. One is to store and elaborate important experiences, and the other is to direct our behavior on the basis of information it receives from various sources. I hope I'm not making this too complicated, but we could imagine that part of the brain is a huge database that stores all the important things that happen to us. Various other brain structures contribute to the mind that receives information from the physical senses and other parts of the brain. The mind guides us based on all these inputs. If you think of it, the mind doesn't have an easy job. Bombarded as it is day in and day out by huge amount of data that it must sort out to decide the best possible behavior for us. So it's no wonder that sometimes the mind gets confused and unable to decide how to proceed, or that it makes rash decisions that are not really in our best interest. Things get even worse if you consider that the brain stores many more negative information than positive ones. That is, the mind will receive more negative suggestions than good ones, like you are not going to be able to do this. That's last time you tried, it was a miserable failure. Or you cannot trust people. Remember the time you... Or you will never be as good as he is. Those of you into computers will recognize the acronym GIGO. Garbage in, garbage out. That is, if you put bad data in, you will get bad data out. The same is for the mind. If you allow too much negativity in, you will get negativity out in the form of unhealthy behaviors, a low sense of self-esteem, difficulties in relating with people around you, whether they are loved ones or strangers, and a lack of positive vision for the future. In more extreme cases, these result in mental ailments like depression or chronic anxiety. So, let me come to the point. Meditation, especially Buddhist meditation, is a technique to help the mind reduce the flow of inputs from other parts of the brain. And this allows us to achieve tranquility. But on top of that, meditation teaches mindfulness, to recognize immediately when brain inputs in the form of random thoughts, memories, projections for the future, positive or negative emotion, try to force their way into the mind and take it over. The sooner the mind becomes aware of these mental objects, the better it will be able to control them and decide how to handle them. And this is particularly important for negative emotions, since they have the connotation of danger and demand immediate response. If we allow them to establish a foothold in the mind, it will become increasingly difficult to look at them dispassionately and decide on the most appropriate behavior. Fear, anxiety, rage, envy, jealousy will become more and more powerful the longer we let them brood in our mind without questioning their validity and the reason why they are there. In fact, mindfulness has its most important application in real life, when it allows us to become aware of and block these negative emotions before they have a chance to damage our lives. Meditation is a learned skill. And as with any other skill, the more you practice, the better you get at it. But whether you can dedicate 10 minutes or an hour at a time, once or many times a week, you will always enjoy its positive effect. The important thing is to approach this practice with an open mind and no expectations. The more you expect immediate results, the more pressure you're putting on yourself, that is, on your mind, which is the opposite of what we want to achieve. Enjoy what you do. Try to understand the technique and practice without any expectations. Like for any sport, if you practice in a relaxed way, you will be able to progress faster. Now, if you think I've given you an intellectual understanding of why this practice can be beneficial to you, we can proceed to explore the technique of meditation and how to optimize it for maximum effect. Hi again. Now, let's try a little meditation together. I will give you directions with some explanation on what to do. But first of all, let me remind you of what we're trying to achieve here. We want to learn to control the quantity and the effect of mental objects, whether they are thoughts, memories, emotions, or other things that enter our mind. This is to achieve tranquility, that is a calmer mind, and to build mindfulness, which is the awareness of when a thought, a mental object in general, starts taking over our attention. Mindfulness makes us conscious of when we stop living in the present and get lost in reveries of the past and fantasies of the future. Now, meditation uses a basic function of the human brain, which is attention. Nothing comes into our mind unless it first grabs our attention, and we can pay attention only to one thing at a time. If you do not believe me, try reciting a poem and doing a multiplication at the same time. Now, we can quickly shift our attention from one item to another, but while our attention is fixed on something, we cannot become aware of anything else. So, how do we apply attention in meditation? Fairly simple. If we concentrate our attention on an object, let's call it the object of meditation, we will prevent any other mental object, again, thoughts, emotion, memories, from entering our consciousness. This will result in an increasingly calmer mind. So, let's try this first step for a few minutes to see how comfy you are with it. First thing though, we must choose the object of meditation on which to focus our attention. And there are hundreds of objects of meditation that have been proposed. They include sounds, images, repetition of short sentences, and so forth and so on. One which is most appropriate for Buddhist meditation is the breath, something that is readily available and with which we have a great familiarity. Before starting a meditation session, we should pay some attention to the environment in which we meditate. As we said before, one of the main objectives of meditation is to reduce the flow of mental objects to the mind, gradually quieting it to reach an increasing level of tranquility. It helps if we try to control as much as possible the input from the five senses by choosing to meditate in a quiet place, removed from distractions like sounds or harsh lights. If possible, we want to start meditating when we are rested and far from heavy meals to minimize the drowsiness that might be accentuated as you relax your body during meditation. It is also important to find a comfortable position in which to meditate. Sitting on a chair with a straight back is perfectly acceptable. Just make sure you can put your feet flat on the floor and that the edge of the seat doesn't cut into the back of your legs. It hurts after a while. If you're more adventurous, you can try sitting cross-legged on a hard cushion, taking care to put one or both knees on the floor to give yourself more stability. If you choose this position, you might want to invest in a meditation cushion and a mat. Now keep your back straight and your head in line with it or slightly bent forward. A straight back helps with your alertness and it's more comfortable than curving your spine, which might result in lower back discomfort. Sitting cross-legged with your knees on the floor helps maintain a straight back and alertness. And this might convince you to meditate in this position, even if you have to put up with your legs occasionally falling asleep and some amount of initial knee pain that, however, it will disappear as you become accustomed to it. But choose whatever arrangement suits you better. You are here to calm your mind, not to exercise your body. You have to go to the gym for that. Now close your eyes and relax. Start inhaling and concentrate on the flow of air in and out of your nostrils. If it helps you, slightly pucker your upper lip to accentuate the feeling of air flowing out of your nose. Try it now for a couple of times just to get the feeling. Breathe by expanding and contracting your diaphragm. Okay? So don't be surprised or upset if your attention is captured by thoughts that wander into your mind. It is perfectly acceptable, since sending messages to the mind is a natural function of the brain. As soon as you become aware that your attention is not any longer on the breath, acknowledge the fact and bring it back to the object of meditation, that is, to your breath. Do that calmly and without feeling frustrated. Meditate without expectations, since expectations are thoughts that will drag your attention away from the breath. Now let's try to apply the above in a meditation just a few minutes long. You will hear a start and a finish chime. Now sit comfortably, straighten your back and relax. I'll give you a couple of seconds in case you might want to turn off the light. Inhale and exhale. Expand your tummy during the inhalation, contract it during the exhalation. Concentrate on the flow of breath in and out of your nostrils. Pucker your upper lip if you want to have a better feeling of the exhaling breath. As you perceive that your attention wanders away from the breath, just bring it back calmly. Acknowledge that you have a thought, a feeling, and dismiss it and bring your attention back to the breath. Mindfulness is the awareness of when your mind moves away from the object of meditation and it's taken over by something else. Very calmly clear your mind by bringing your attention back to the object of meditation. Do it calmly, without any irritation, and repeat it as many times as it is needed. Keep breathing, relax all of your body. I hope you enjoyed this short meditation. It was only 4 minutes long. You can extend it as you like or have time available. Doing it consistently and enjoying it is more important than the time that you put into it. Now, I'm sure that many of you have started appreciating the calming effect of mindful breathing. But I am sure that others are thinking they will never be able to meditate effectively because their minds are too busy, too crowded with thoughts. The monkey mind, as Eastern meditators called it to describe a mind jumping from one thought to another without pause, is not an uncommon phenomenon and shouldn't scare you away from meditation practice. Let me give you a little suggestion on how to improve your ability to keep your attention on the breath. If you analyze what is going on in your mind, you will perceive what we can call two different voices. I will call one the now voice, or the voice that connects you with the present, that tells you you are breathing, you are here now. There is another voice that brings to the mind thoughts from the past or the future, like yesterday was a beautiful day, or I have to remember that appointment tomorrow, or I'm looking forward to dinner, and so on and so forth. Many different thoughts. The latter is the voice that contributes to the monkey mind, so we will call it the monkey voice. The two voices easily blend in your consciousness, but with a little effort you should be able to keep them distinct. Use the now voice to sustain your attention on the breath, for example by counting 1, 2, I'm breathing in, I'm breathing out, 3, 4. Once you reach 10, start over, not to make the count too automatic. When you notice the monkey voice trying to insert itself with the new thoughts, acknowledge it and dismiss it, bringing your attention back to the breath. Don't be shy using your now voice to remind yourself that you are here now and you do not want to be distracted by the monkey voice. Eventually, when you feel the mind is quiet enough, you can let go of the now voice and concentrate exclusively on the breath without any commentary. But go back to the now voice anytime you feel pressed by too many thoughts. This is a good approach if you want to sneak in a quick 5 or 10 minutes meditation anytime you can find a quiet enough place and want to relax before continuing with your busy day. Before I go, I would like to remind you that while tranquility is a wonderful goal of meditation because of the sense of well-being it can give you, mindfulness is an equally important component because it allows us to become aware of when thoughts are starting to form in our mind. During a meditation session, we use this awareness to bring our attention back to the breath, but in real life, we can use it to become aware of when negative emotions start capturing our attention and then our mind. This will give us the opportunity of facing them early and controlling them before they drive us to undesirable behaviors and then to suffering. Now, if you like, take another 5-10 minutes to practice and see if the use of the now voice helps maintain your concentration on the breath. I really hope you found this talk useful, and I'm looking forward to share with you more ideas on the benefit of meditation in my other videos. May you enjoy your peace of mind.